now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly...
Hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. My name is Alex Matthew. With me is Mahima Vachrajani, and we will take you through the next 1 hour of trade. It's been a great couple of weeks because we've tried a new thing and it has worked. We've opened the phone lines for you and you've been calling in. We've gotten some fantastic questions and hopefully we've been able to help you as well. It's been amazing speaking to you directly, and to that end, if you've got questions for us, you can call us on that number that you see on your screen, or you can send us a message in case you don't want to bother holding the line, which sometimes you have to do. But let's take a look at the markets and see how they're faring right now before we get to the questions that you've already sent us. And we've got a very narrow range for the Nifty 50 and indeed for the markets right now. We've given up about 0.5% on the benchmark Nifty 50 over the course of the morning so far, and we are trading with cuts of about 0.2% or thereabouts. Similar story for the broader markets as well, where the mid-cap index is currently losing ground, and you also there just about at yesterday's close, and you have the small cap index that is also more or less treading water at this juncture, up about 0.33%. But the market breadth is tilted in favor of the declines as we speak right now, and in fact that is visible in the sectoral picture, where you see only the Nifty IT index that is trading in the green, and most of the indices are in fact trading in the red. So you also have so in terms of the sectoral indices, only the IT index is trading in the green, and most of the other indices, as I pointed out, trading in the red, but not very significant losses. So you have energy that's down about 0.7% or so. The Nifty Bank index has lost a bit of ground, 250 odd points from the high point of the day, and now trading in the red as well. But there are several stocks that we've been looking at in the morning, and a few of them, of course, having also lost ground. One of them, the Indus Tower news that came out not too long back, but it's only trading with gains of about 1% or so. What else is standing out to you?
Right, so both the telecom space stocks were buzzing in trade today. In fact, they are buzzing in trade today. Let's pull up Vodafone Idea and see what it's doing in trade today. It's set to sell another 3% of stake in Indus Towers, and it is also raising funds of around 2,000 odd crores. And Citi on Indus Towers is an interesting note to watch out for. They've given a target price of 485. Indus Towers is currently trading at 364, up around 1.3%, and Vodafone Idea is also faring well, comparatively well in trade today. Let's pull up that. No, but it is I think lost its grounds, and it's now trading at its day's low point, down around 4.95 odd percent. Let's also pull up Zomato and Swiggy. Interesting note coming from Bernstein about Zomato versus Swiggy. They've given a target price of 335 for Zomato, so their pick remains Zomato in this space. Something like Torrent Pharma, Indraprastha Gas are some of other counters that are, faring very well in trade today. But let's welcome in Samir Dalal from Samir Dalal and Natwalal Sons, and also Khush Bora, who will be taking us through our funda and technical queries. For viewers who are just tuning in, you can ask all your stock related queries on the number that is flashing on your screen. The number right now that's flashing on your screen is the number on which you can reach out to us, call us and ask all your queries. Moving on to the first query of the day. I cannot see the I cannot see the name.
I got it in front of me. We've got Rajendran, who's written in and is asking about IndusInd Bank. He's got 30 shares at a price of 1,004, and he's asking whether he can hold on at this juncture. He hasn't specified his time holding. He's more or less where the stock price is right now. So let's go across on the technicals to Khush Bora. Khush, morning to you, and morning to you as well, Samir. Khush, I'm coming to you on IndusInd Bank. Would you hold on to this?
Hi, Alex. First of all, very good morning. Morning, Samir. Well, look, a bulk of the damage is done, on this one, reeling under pressure. But I'll take heart from the fact that, the recent lows that it has made, it's now starting to form a base around it, had gone to the oversold territories and, rebounded from there on. So I think bulk of the damage is done here from a risk reward standpoint. It looks very, very, very attractive. So with a stop loss of 960, I will continue to hold IndusInd Bank. On the way up, the first hurdle will come at 1020, but once that is taken out, you could see some acceleration towards 1080 as well. So IndusInd Bank is a hold.
All right. The next question is from Raj Shekhar, who's from Bangalore, and he wants an explanation as to why TCI Express is falling down. He's bought 100 shares in TCI Express at around 1260 a piece, and he's saying that it's almost 35% down. Can we pull up TCI Express and see at what price it is trading at? Currently, there you go, it's trading at around 834. So he's incurring a loss of around 42,000. Samir, I'll come to you on this one. Is it the fundamentals that's hurting the company, or what's the reason, and what should be the next step for Rajshekhar?
So unfortunately, we don't have PCI Express under coverage, so it will not be possible for me to say why it's been falling.
According to you, TCI Express, does it look attractive on charts, because it's fallen quite a bit?
Sadly, it doesn't look attractive even now. I'll only take heart from the fact that, the lows or the congestion zone that the stock has around 800 to about 850 is where the stock is currently. And this was the level where it had consolidated late 2020, early 21. But despite that, there are no signs of any kind of a revival or a recovery. The stock's seen selling pressure at every rise. So I wouldn't be too optimistic, on this one. Any slip below this 800 mark could actually further accelerate the downside that has begun nearly about 2.5-3 years ago. So not very optimistic on TCI Express, even after the kind of fall that it has seen.
Okay, all right, so it's not looking very good, Rajshekhar. Hopefully that answers your question, and I would think that is an exit based on what Kush has said. Subhadra is calling in from Hyderabad, and he's holding Borosil Renewable. Subhadra, thanks so much for calling us. You're our first call of the day. Good morning to you. How can we help you?
Good morning, sir. I have bought 150 shares of Borosil Renewables at the rate of 485. My view is very, very long term. I can hold it long.
Okay, what is the definition though of very, very long term, Subhadra?
Maybe 6 years, maybe 7 years also I am willing to hold.
Okay, and so I'm guessing you bought this. When did you buy this?
About more than a year back, probably 1.5 year back.
Okay, so Borosil Renewables, let's pull up the chart, 1 year chart, and see how it's done. It's up and about in trade today. So Bhadra, I'm just curious, when you bought this, what was the thinking behind it? You must have read something about the company.
Yes, in fact, I was in a hurry at that time, but at that time again I have bought it for a very, because whatever I purchase it with a very long term view.
Got it. I understood. All right. Let me take this question to Samir on the fundamentals then. Borosil Renewables, would you hold on? It's doing quite well in trade today, Samir, but the longer term perspective, 5+ years?
So actually, it's a very good investment from a longer term perspective, right? Why? Because the solar space in India is only going to keep getting traction. We are working on Make in India. We are having our panels made in India. And, Borosil Renewable is making the glass that goes into a lot of these solar panels, right? Which covers this the top layer. Now, that is a very key component for that business. So as we get more production of the solar panels made in India, the demand for the glass will keep increasing. Now, if you know, Borosil Renewable is going in for a capacity expansion or has already started it, and they should augment the capacity, I think, in the next 6 months. So once the capacity comes on, what you will see is the top line and the EBITDA and the margins start doing better. And that will lead to growth in profitability. The company did report a loss in the last couple of years, but I believe that is about to change. So hold on. I think the long term for the entire solar space is very good. Borosil is one of the key players when it comes to this glass manufacturing. I think they will do really well. Hold on.
That's the view coming in on Borosil Renewables. It's a hold from. Moving on to the next query. The next query is on Paytm, and Kavita from Bangalore is writing in. She has 51 shares of Paytm bought at 1,200 a piece. She's saying that now that the price is rising, she wants to know till what extent will my share value increase. Kush, I'll come to you for this one. What do you think should be the next target for Paytm, and what should be the stop loss as well?
So I think she's bought it at a fairly high price. I think she'll take heart from the fact that the stock has seen a stellar recovery from the lows that it had made around those 300, 350 mark. I think this one is a hold. Around 1,000, there is a rounding bottom formation on the weekly setup that gets completed, which means that once that is taken out, you will see further momentum on the upside come about. There could be a possibility that it might be a while before she sees her buying price achieve and then some profit. But with the kind of trajectory that there is and the move that it has seen on the back of very strong volumes, Paytm is a very clear hold. I would suggest irrespective of her buying price right now, the targets of 1150, and once that is taken out, you're looking at a 1400 kind of a level as well. So continue to hold Paytm. It's got a strong trajectory above 1,000. The momentum might pick up even further.
All right, we'll take one more question on WhatsApp and then we'll go to our next caller. Satya, you called us, I know, from Hyderabad. Do stay with us. We'll come to you in just a minute. We've got Mamta joining in from Chennai, who's written in and is asking about NTPC Green. She's gotten an allotment in the IPO and the stock has been gaining quite substantially. In trade today, it's under a little bit of pressure, but put into context, and I would like you to pull up the weekly chart if you possibly can. All of this week, it has been absolutely buzzing, and we had actually a story on the website ndtvprofit.com that I would encourage you to read. Some part of it, can we pull up the weekly chart, please? Okay, so because that will give you a sense of why the stock has been up. It's 30% higher, and some part of that has to do with the free float in this counter. At least that is the analysis that we have here. Samir, just about 6.6% of free float, and in fact that might also be a little misleading because institutions have bought and are holding. So therefore, one would say that the demand is far outstripping the supply. Is that leading to this kind of a price movement, and would you book out right now?
So personally, I would book out. And you're right, there is a bit of a shortage of free float. Like you rightfully said, at the end of the day, it's a new issue. The people, the institutions that have just bought are not going to come out in a rush to sell because they bought it from a 3 to 5 year perspective. And why do I say that is because, look, like I discussed earlier when we were discussing Borosil Renewable, the growth opportunity in the entire renewable space, forget solar, in the entire renewable space is extremely large, and NTPC Green, which is setting up a lot of those capacities, will stand to benefit. Now, this is a business which requires a lot of upfront capital, and they have very low operating costs for running their business because it's at the end of the day using natural resources like the sun and the wind to generate the electricity. So their margins are going to be stellar. Now, given the fact that it will take them the next 5 years, 7 years to really gain significant capacity and start getting the profitability and the cash flows to start working for them really well, I think it's a long-term play. At 100, when the issue came about 110 was okay. We thought it was a little bit on the expensive side, given where they stand on the capacity. And of course, valuations you can't compare because, like I said, the profits are yet to come. But I thought it was expensive then. So at this point, personally, I would not be a buyer. But if you have a 5-year horizon, you can probably stay put. But if you're a trader, I would say take your money off the table right now.
Okay, that's an interesting analysis coming on NTPC Green from Samir. We have our next caller, Akshita, who's calling from Hyderabad. Akshita, good morning. Thanks for calling. How can we help you?
Good morning. Actually, we have bought a Carbonum Universal at 1406 for 1,000 shares. Should I keep it, hold, or sell?
Okay, what's the time horizon that you're looking for?
For medium term?
Can you define medium term for me?
Like 2 to 3 months or 6 months, yeah.
Okay, and how long ago did you buy this?
Like we bought 2 days back.
Okay, 2 days back. Kush, I'll come to you for this one. Carborundum is the stock. How does it look on charts? Kush, I believe you're on mute.
I'm sorry for that. Kind of a consolidative move with a mild negative bias. And what's happening is that around this 1400 to about 1460 odd mark, there is this congestion of all the key averages, 20-day, 50-day, 200-day, what all have you. So around that, you would find the stock perhaps resisting for some time. Now, the good thing is that there is a very good base formation around this 1350 to 1380 zone. So as long as that is held, the stock could consolidate, and any kind of an upswing beyond the 1450 mark will actually take it higher to 1520. So my view would be continue to hold because it's not too far from her buying price. So 1350 should be a very strict stop loss. If that is taken out, the stock could see further downside. with a stop loss of 1350 for a time horizon of 2 to 3 months. Continue to hold. Momentum will be seen beyond 1450, and then the stock could very well head to 1525 kind of levels.
Okay, I'm coming back to you, Kush, on this next one. Avenue Supermarts, the stock is currently trading at 3,838. It's given up quite a bit of ground from September of this year, end of September, in that kind of drop that you saw. Broader markets as well losing ground, but quite a few frontline companies losing quite a bit of ground. But this is a question coming from Vaibhav, and he's writing in from Bengaluru. He's bought at prices of 4,183, so losing quite a bit of ground as well. Would you hold on to this?
Alex, did you mention the time frame on this one?
Yeah, so he's looking to hold for the next 6 to 8 months.
Oh, 6 to 8 months. I think the stock could see a goodish kind of a recovery. I know the fall on this one has been very steep, but if you see, there's a very clear base formation near the 35.50 mark where the stock is now attempting rebounds. Also, on the way down, the volumes seem to be thinning out. So there's a possibility that the selling pressure might be abating now. The recovery and the delivery marking on certain days has been very encouraging. From a perspective or a time horizon of 3 to 6 months, you could continue to hold on to this one. There is a possibility here again that this stock could once again move to his buying price, but may not move much beyond that, because that's where the 50-day moving average resides, and there is also this gap resistance that might come in. So hold on, but there is a possibility that you may have to exit this one at cost and maybe not at a substantial profit.
Interesting. That's an interesting view coming in on Avenue Supermarts. Although fundamentally, Alex, we've seen that Avenue Supermarts is losing a lot of ground because of quick commerce and e-commerce.
Yeah.
But moving on, the next question is from Revati Gopal, who's from Pune. And I believe she has a question on Rashtriya Chemical Fertilizer. And I think she wants a fundamental view on this. So Samir, I'll come to you on this one. Do you have a view on this counter?
So not particular in RCF, but on the entire fertilizer space, I think, look, the opportunity is still quite good. The monsoons have been very good this year. So what you're going to see is the demand for fertilizers will continue to increase going throughout the year. Now, what you got to look at is where the valuations for many of these companies stand. And also one more thing that, look, the government is eventually going to ensure that they get some amount of subsidies and benefits to the farmers. So the demand for fertilizers, of course, is only going to keep increasing. I would look at where valuations for particular companies stand. Now, for example, PI Industries in space is trading at much higher valuations compared to a stock like UPL, United Phosphorus. United Phosphorus is trading at about 10 times earnings. So personally, the way I look at it is I would like to buy companies that are trading at fair valuation. United Phosphorus, of course, has a global presence apart from India. That is something that will also benefit eventually over the longer term because of diversification of regions. So if ever there's a slowdown, you're getting it at a good price. The company is taking care of the problems that they have, which is the debt. They're selling part of Advanta. They are raising a QIP. So, they'll be able to repay almost 6,000 crores of debt, which will help the interest cost going down, which will obviously help the leverage plus the profitability increase automatically. We believe that is the right way to play. I don't have coverage on RCF, sorry.
Quick follow-up to that then, Samir. In terms of a turnaround for something like a UPL, do you anticipate that happening sometime in the next financial year?
I think the turnaround has already started to happen. What you're talking about is the profitability that has been a little affected because of the kind of dumping that has been happening from China. I get a feeling that will soon come to an end, especially after Donald Trump comes in and makes a lot of noise regarding, putting in customs duty on a few products here and there. And I get a feeling that what will eventually happen is that, look, the dumping that China has been doing will probably ease. And once that happens, UPL will turn around. I think the days for UPL, the worst for UPL is done. I think what you're going to see is a bit of consolidation before a run-up. So this is a great time to get in personally.
All right. Let me get across our next caller. We've got Raj from Kolkata joining in. Raj, good morning to you. And how can we help you today?
Good morning. Myself Raj from Kolkata.
Nice to speak to you, Raj, this morning. Thanks so much for calling NDTV Profit. How can we help you?
I am holding Mishtan Foods.
Okay.
At the rate of 14.85.
Okay.
5,000 shares.
Sorry.
I want to know the fundamental of this company.
Okay. So can you tell me the
buy
price?
I have already researched that, but I want to confirm from analyst.
Okay. Can you tell me the buy price, please?
my buy price is 13.85.
13.85. Okay, since you've researched the
yes.
company, can you tell me what drew you to it? As I can see, it is a basmati rice producer.
Basmati rice, and I think future they are making ethanol plant. I think so.
Understood. Okay, Raj. All right, let me try and see if there's a coverage that Sameer has. It's a pretty small company. It's actually just about 1,300 odd crore company. If not Mishtan, Sameer, let me put it this way. If not Mishtan, then do you like any other rice companies that are currently available?
So the other rice company that we did look at in the past and we did track was LT Foods.
Yes.
But again, there the problem we face is the valuations have run up quite a bit. Of course, it's going through a bit of a consolidation now, but if you look at it, it's not cheap. At the end of the day, you're just buying rice, branding it and polishing it and selling it. So it's got to have some amount of competitive pressures which will come through. We don't believe that these high valuations are justifiable at this point of time. The other company in the space is Kohinoor Foods, where we have not been very optimistic in the past, but LT Foods was the one we like, but the valuations don't justify it.
Right. I think what Raj mentioned is quite right, Alex. So it's a rice producer, but it's expanding into ethanol project, and they are targeting 1,000 kiloliters per day facility construction in Gujarat by FY26.
So this is part of the government's move to have,
probably,
apart
ethanol
from
blending.
Yeah, but apart from sugar-based ethanol, right?
Yeah,
so you're talking about
absolutely.
other grains and the feedstock that you get
Correct,
from
correct.
that.
So since they already have something as a byproduct, they'll be probably using it for ethanol.
But I'm actually curious. Okay, Sameer, just to follow up on this, and Raj, hopefully this helps you out as well. Since he's intending to play that ethanol space, and traditionally over the last couple of years, people have looked at something like a Praj, not necessarily an ethanol maker itself, but somebody that facilitates that story. So would you rather play something like a Praj as opposed to someone like, what is it? Yeah, Mishtan Foods.
So Praj is something that people have already played, and if you see, the stock has run up quite significantly. Yes. It's captured in the expectation that over the next many years, a lot of ethanol plants will be put up for various different kind of commodities which you rightfully put up. So would I like to play something else? Yeah, I think that is the right way to play. But then you have companies in the sugar space that are already have those plants up and running, which are manufacturing the ethanol, which are supplying it to these companies for blending. So I would much rather invest in them. And so one of them I have is Ugar Sugar, which is a sugar company, but they've expanded a lot into the ethanol space. We believe that government push towards increased blending will only keep increasing. So as that keeps happening and prices move up, I think the operating profits for these companies will keep moving up. So that is one way. The other way is, of course, you can play it through the larger players like Balrampur Chini and Bajaj Hindustan, who have large ethanol blending capacities. And if ethanol blending picks up the way everyone is expecting to, I think they will stand to benefit the most, because on a small capacity, how much can you make as a profit versus what you can with these companies that already have these huge capacities set up and have basically the raw material, have everything in place to expand their business.
That absolutely makes sense, Sameer. The next question is from Karthik, who's from Hyderabad. He's holding 110 Zomato shares bought at 230 a piece, and he wants to know whether the share will cross the 350 mark by the end of April month next year. And he also wants to know, can he keep holding this from a longer term perspective, or probably sell it off once he achieves his target? Sameer, I'll again come to you for this one. And he's also saying whether he can buy more stocks in this particular space. So I believe he's asking whether he should also invest in Swiggy or not, because both of these stocks are seeing good gains today. So your view on both of these counters?
Okay, so first up, I'm a shareholder in Swiggy, and I'm quite positive on that over the longer term perspective. Why I like both the businesses, I'll tell you, is look, it's eventually a blue sky kind of situation. You have these huge markets in India which are still untapped for food delivery. You have these huge markets in India which are still only getting used to the quick commerce kind of space. At the moment, of course, quick commerce is not making money because there is a bit of discounting to ensure that they are able to get their clientele. But once they are on board, and once people find the ease in doing these businesses and the operational start turning profitable, the profits can go significantly. The problem I have with Zomato is that the valuations have already run up too much. So again, I am also a shareholder in Zomato, but at this point of time, I'm not looking to add. I'm in fact thinking whether I should convert some of my Zomato to Swiggy from this fact that the valuation of Zomato is moved up so much. But I mean, I'm just holding on because I already have Swiggy. But net, if you are a long-term investor, I think these companies can do really, really well over the next 5 years. Is it going to become 350 by April, Zomato? I mean, that is something I really can't comment on because I mean, I wish I knew it was going to become 350. I'd sell everything else I have and just buy this, come back and
Yeah, I know that is the point. But then a simple question from my end. Then, would you still be a buy on Swiggy right now at this price?
I'd wait for a correction. It's again it's the discount to Zomato is narrowing, but the discount is going to remain. Now, if I believe that Zomato also is overpriced, then I think Swiggy will also take a little bit longer. Look, at the end of the day, it's still making losses. They're setting up more of these dark stores all over, which will allow them to get the operating leverage, which will allow them to break into profits. They're targeting December 2025. Of course, as the losses keep coming down, maybe people will turn positive. But a lot of the positives that are expected by December 2025 are priced in at this point. So I would say wait for a correction in both of them if you want to add Zomato closer to 200 and Swiggy closer to maybe the issue price. I don't see that happening, but I would say at least if nothing else, maybe 400, 420.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the positives were priced in yesterday and it's up another 8% today. So I don't know whether you're going to get that price. But Samir and Kushtu, stay with us. We are going to take more questions on the other side of this very quick break. Unfortunately, we're going to have to keep some of you on hold. Do stay with us. We'll be back before you know it.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, a show where we answer all your stock related questions, whether they're fundamental or technical. For viewers who are just tuning in, you can ask all your stock related queries on the number that is flashing on your screen. You can call us on this number, or if you're not a caller, you can ask all your queries on the WhatsApp number that is flashing on your screen right now. And we have our next caller for the day. Narsimba from Hyderabad is calling us. Thank you for calling, Narsimba. How can we help you?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. So I hold Gravita India. Hello.
I can
Please
hear
go
you,
ahead.
Narsimba. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gravita India. Quantity is 1192.
Okay.
Investment price is 961.73.
Okay. How long ago did you buy
I
this?
want to understand.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How long ago did you buy this, and what's the rationale behind buying this?
I have been averaging it for last 4 years, and I want to hold it for long term, maybe 5-10 years. So is this a good hold? How are the fundamentals?
All right, Samir, I'll come to you on this one. It's in a very interesting space, waste management, and it's something that an industry which is actually coming up now. Your view on Gravita India?
No, you're absolutely right. It's a very interesting space, and they have a good amount of capacity, and they're also adding on to capacity, which will allow them to grow their profitability. Given the fact that the world is moving more towards doing reusing of products, I think companies like Gravita will continue to do well. The problem simply, look, fundamentally, everything is great. Companies' profits will grow. Since the question was on fundamentals, the profits will continue to grow. The capacities will keep increasing. The leverage is not so bad. Decent management that we have running the business, all of that is great. Everything's in place. Where I find difficulty is valuation. Look, at the end of the day, this is a company that takes a certain amount of products that are going to get disposed, recycles it, and resells it in the market. It's basically a converter. When a converter is trading at 75 times trailing earnings and maybe 60 times forward earnings, difficult to justify. So I would not be in a rush to add on. If in fact anything, I would say take some profits off the table if the stock comes closer to the 1500 levels we had. The problem with that is that, when you book this profit, he's going to end up paying a short-term capital gains tax of about 150 rupees given his cost purchase price about 900. So then what ends up happening is he really doesn't make that much money, because even if he buys it back at 15, he's only made about 250, 300 rupees versus the government taking away 150. So hold on if you can. However, if you have something else you want to invest in, book some profits for the time being, because I think valuations are overdone.
Yeah, but based on FIFO, he would be long term, I would think, Samir, on some of the stuff that he's bought, right, early on. So first in, first out would mean that if he's bought 4 years back, he would sell some bit of it. But maybe he should look at the post-tax implications of that and then decide. A couple of banking stocks, Bank of Maharashtra, one, and this is a question coming in all the way from the Windy City, Chicago. This is from Srini. He's writing in and asking about this. He's bought at levels of 100, and actually he's not given us a buy price. Let's pull up the stock and see where it's trading. So he's not given us a buy price, but he's asking whether it can be accumulated. And the second one, I want to club with this. Kush, this one's for you, both of these actually. This one's from Warangal in Telangana. Bhaskar is wondering whether Bank of Baroda should be exited if he's bought it at a price of 274.
Alex, just a quick 30 seconds on what Nasimha has done. He said he's averaged, and that's the kind of averaging that I like. If he said he's been averaging it for 4 years, which means his first purchase would have been somewhere around 100 rupees, and his average buy price is 961, which means he's averaging on the way up. By the way, this is also known as pyramiding. If any of your viewers want to look this up, so this is how you average. So I'm not against averaging, but I'm just against averaging on the downside. So kudos to Narsimha. Stellar purchase, and even better strategy to keep adding on when the stock has kept going higher. So kudos to him on that. Now to come to the questions on Bank of Maharashtra first. The PSU pack is seeing a bit of a move up, correct? But for me right now, the preference does remain, with some of the larger private names, so HDFC, ICICI. These are some of the names that I would consider if I'm adding a fresh. I think the street is divided, but that's where my preference lies. On the way up, Bank of Maharashtra could see resistance around the 60, 62 mark, and fairly close to that. So I think any fresh purchases should be made once 62 is taken out. Now, as far as Bank of Baroda goes, very longish period of consolidation. In fact, the entire year has been spent in consolidation. Now seems to be some traction picking up on this. So you should hold on to this one with a stop loss of, or rather a trailing stop loss of 235. On the way up, there's a good possibility that the stock could move to 275, and once that is taken, or 295 levels also. So a good move after almost a year of consolidation. I think you should hold on to this one and keep trailing your stop losses up until the levels of 295.
Okay, we've got the next caller. Oh, apologies.
No worries, no worries.
Sorry, we lost track of the. Anyway, Debashish Ghosh is calling us from Kolkata. Debashish, good morning to you. And how can we help you today?
I want to purchase CSC
Okay.
at this level
Okay.
for long investment. It is good or bad?
Okay. When you say long, how do you define that? Are you talking about more than a year, Debashish?
More than 5 years.
More than 5 years. Okay. So what about this company drew you to it? Why do you like CESC?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. All right. So you read about it. Let me go across to Samir on the fundamentals. So, Samir, have you studied CESC? Would you buy?
So yeah, we do have CESC that we do cover, and look, the power space is going to continue to do well, especially when it comes to the distribution of power, including the generation, which CESC does focus on to some extent. Now, where we believe that the risk lies again for them is, if you look at it, they're trading at a valuation higher than most. Barring the Adani Power, if you look at NTPC, if you look at some of the other private sector power generation and distribution companies, CESC is trading at a slightly higher valuation multiple. So that could be the risk. But apart from that, I think the growth opportunity, the story is quite good. One can make an investment. Small corrections, maybe 5-7% closer to 175, 180 levels would be a good purchasing price for that stock for a longer term view.
Right, so that's the view coming in on CESC. It's a buy from Samir on this counter. The next question is from Siva, and he's writing in to know about RIL, and he wants to know whether this is the right time to enter or not. Kush, your view as to how Reliance are faring out on charts at present?
Well, look, I mean, if you go by the near-term trend, you are going to be disappointed. But if you look at, how the stock has shaped up after seeing, the drubbing it has seen in the recent past and what it has done in the past, from the 200-day moving average, or rather, the 200-day weekly moving averages, it'll be quite encouraging. So from my perspective, if you've got a view anywhere from, let's say about, 6 months or longer, this is a good entry point. The returns on the upside could be fairly significant, at least for a big stock like Reliance. I am looking at levels of 1430, and once that is taken out, even 1575 as the targets for the next 6 to 12 months. So Reliance for me is a good purchase at this point. The risk reward ratio gets extremely favorable, and the stop loss for this one comes in at 1225, around the recent lows that the stock has made.
All right, we'll take the next question from Deepika. She's writing in from Hyderabad, and she's bought a significant quantity of Vodafone Idea, 2,248 shares at an average price of 8 rupees 55 paise. The stock is currently at below that price, down about 5.4%. It's a high risk strategy, Samir. In the telecom space, you're buying something that is now effectively a penny stock that is controlling less than 18% of the telecom market, is facing problems in terms of retaining subscribers. Would you hold on to this?
Personally, no, I would not hold on to it. And I'll tell you why. What you asked me the question, look, their market share is declining. They are limping along. They are struggling for funding. They're not being able to get the debt that they require for transitioning to 5G also. There's constant requirement of equity infusion by the promoters. When you have a situation like that, it becomes very difficult for them to deliver good ROEs, because what's happening is the equity base is continuously becoming bigger. And the more the equity size keeps becoming bigger, you need your profits to grow that much more to generate that ROE, right? That the return on equity that you want as an investor, which is going to be very difficult. Look, there are a lot of expectations that they will turn around, they will get this, they will get those benefits, government will convert their debt to equity, which will reduce the interest burden. I'm not denying any of that, but to service that equity is going to take a lot. They're not able to grow their market share, and that is going to be something that is very important. And we are constantly talking of risk of entry of the Starlink for telephones within India, which Elon Musk wants to bring. If something on that news comes, then I think Vodafone Idea is going to go through even more pressure. So for me as an investor, I'm looking to invest to make money with a lower risk. Vodafone is a very high risk strategy, like you rightfully said. If something were to change drastically and they get some benefits from the government, blah blah blah, and it turns around, yes, it can become 15, but that's not an investment I like to make.
Right, interesting take on Vodafone Idea. But quickly, Kush, your view on Vodafone Idea. Do you agree to Goldman Sachs target price of 2.4 for Vodafone?
Who am I to debate that? But my view is very clear and has been since the 16 levels, which is avoid Vodafone Idea at all costs. No matter what it does, the price doesn't seem to show any kind of a sustainable up move. So, I mean, who knows? But for me, Vodafone Idea is an avoid.
Right. We have our next caller. Murugan from Chennai is calling us. Murugan, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Good morning.
Murugan, unfortunately, your phone line is not very clear, Murugan. Hello?
No, I think it's not.
No, unfortunately, Murugan, your phone line is unclear and we can't make out what you're saying. Please ensure that you are in a place with network. We were just speaking about the telecom space. Let's talk about the next question. It's on Hitachi Energy, I believe. And okay, this is Murugan's question. Okay, it's on Hitachi Energy, and he's bought so the buy price is 8,200. He's bought 37 shares, and he's wondering whether to hold or exit. The stock is currently at 11,000 plus. All right, so close to 12,000. What would you do with this? Kush, on the charts, would you book some profits at this juncture?
Alex, I'd continue to hold. He's already sitting in a profit, which is a very good thing. The major trend, if you see, is actually quite positive. It's only along with the markets that the stock has actually started correcting. I mean, of course, it had gone into overbought territories and there were negative divergences. But along with markets, it had started to come down. So the broad trajectory, if you see, is positive. Some profit booking was around the corner that has come about, and the stock has very comfortably held above the 200-day moving average. So what I would do is I would place a trailing stop loss around that 11,000 or 10,900 zone, which is a medium-term support zone as well, incidentally, and also the 200-day moving average, resides there. So don't be in a hurry to sell. Even if you sell it, let's say about 700, 800, rupees lower from here, you'd still be in a profit. Plus, you're giving yourself that chance that the stock could regain the higher levels of 14,000 and 16,000 that it had. So for me, Hitachi Energy is a hold. Stop loss comes in at 10,900.
It's a hold at present for Hitachi Energy. The next question is from Gauri, who's writing to us from Dubai. She's bought BSC Limited at 4,700 a piece, and she wants to know whether she should keep holding it or exit at the current levels. The stock is currently trading at 5,021. So, Samir, I think let's get a fundamental view on this. Your view on BSC Limited?
So I like the businesses that these are, because these are very low capital. It's like a platform kind of a business. Once you have the system in place and once you get the users to come on and the volumes keep increasing, the business profitability keeps increasing. BSE has seen a stellar run from 400 odd levels from a couple years ago to about 5,000. This is because, they have been able to capture now almost 22% of the derivatives F&O volume. Look, the bulk of the F&O volumes happens in the exchange, in the indices, and 20% of that has now moved to BSE, which is a huge thing, because of which the operating leverage is playing out and the profitability is increasing. That apart, the valuation of CDSL is moved up, which is a subsidiary. That stock of IC, the clearing corporations being demerged and separated out, which could lead to some more value unlocking. And these are the things that are triggering the stock to run up. But simply put, you also got to remember these are transactional businesses. And I've said this before on your channel as well. Any business that is transactional basis, where things like right now are hunky-dory, where volumes are increasing continually because more and more people are investing in the market because it's become easy money. Then that changes, and when a bear market actually comes, it may not happen now, it may happen 6 months, 1 year, 2 years down. What you will see is that there'll be a drastic drop in the volumes. When that happens, the negative operating leverage starts playing out. So for me, valuations are very expensive. Company is great, business is great, but I'm expecting whenever the bear market hits the stock to have significant problems. So for me, I would sell out and take my profits and find something else which is more of a long-term growth story rather than a cyclical business which BSE could turn out to be.
Okay. If you are trying to call us, I want to tell you that we are shutting the phone lines right now because we've got 5 callers on wait. You can send us a message on that WhatsApp number, and towards the end of the show, what we'll do is we'll do a rapid fire round and we'll try and take as many questions as possible. Sriram from Chennai is calling us. Hi Sriram, good morning to you. I believe you've got a question for us on Coal India.
Yes, good morning, and I'm a repeated caller. And today, I really like both of the panel here, Push and Samir, my favorites. I've been listening a lot of good advice from them.
Glad to hear that.
My question is on Coal India. Considering the India's power demand is increasing, and I see the valuations are also good at this moment. I'm holding 500 shares of Coal India, which I bought recently. Should I buy more, considering the current level, and or go with the power grid? Both of them are equally dividend-paying stocks, and they are in the power sector.
That is an interesting question, certainly. Thanks so much, Sriram, for that. It seems that you've done your reading as well. Samir, so a nuanced view here, because Power Grid is a stock that has run up quite a bit. Coal India, not as much, 8% I think in the year to date. But as he's pointed out, he's just bought. We're talking about the outlook for thermal power not going anywhere. Despite the increase in renewable capacity, we're still going to be using thermal for some time. So would you hold on to Coal India?
So I don't think we are going to stop thermal capacity at all, totally. Eventually, look, this is renewable energy has certain limitations where power is only generated at particular hours when the wind is blowing or when the sun is shining. Whereas thermal power can be run all through the day, as and when demand and all is required. And I don't think solar and wind is going to be enough alone to take care of all the needs of India's power requirements as we keep moving towards electric vehicles, towards various other things. We are going to need various different kinds of energy sources. Now, Coal India is the largest producer of coal in India. The demand for which is only going to keep increasing. Like I said, apart from that, cement companies need coal. Steel companies need coal. So it's something that's only going to keep increasing. The problem where the difficulty for coal happens is the prices of that are obviously linked to how crude prices move. So if crude prices come down, that kind of has a negative impact on coal price, because at the end of the day, energy is used for generating power, and if one form of energy price comes down, then the other form obviously also follows suit. But we believe that the next few years, Coal India will continue to do well. Growth in volumes will happen. Prices are stable. Profitability is good. Dividends are decent. So from the next 2 to 3 years, I think it is interesting to maybe make an investment in Coal India. I would assume a target price of 550 would be a fair price 2 years down the road. So at that point, of course, we have to review the situation, but I would buy it right now and with a target price of 550.
All right, that's the view coming in on Coal India as well as Power Grid. We have our next caller, Vardhan, who's calling from Bengaluru. Vardhan, thanks for calling in. How can I help you?
Hi.
Hi, Vardhan.
I have a stocks of Tata Motors. I purchased at 780, and I have a quantity of 135. So how should I look at it? I mean, short term or long term? How should I go about it?
Okay, when did you purchase it, and what was the rationale behind purchasing Tata Motors?
So I believe it has a great potential looking at the future and the kind of vehicles and EV investment that they have. So I believe it has a great potential. However, it is holding for long at 780 for the last 1 month. So I believe it might go up. And for that basis, I'm looking forward to, should I take a short-term benefit of 800 or 810, or should I wait for long-term to go up above 1000?
All right, point noted. Kush, I'll come to you on this one. Tata Motors on charts.
I think this is more of a tactical, opportunistic kind of a trade that he's made. The stock's actually seen a lot of dropping, now consolidating, with some sort of negative bias. I think, it's not a bad idea to continue holding on, because, bulk of the selling that had to happen seems to be getting over. So with a stop loss of 760, continue to hold. I quite like the target that he's mentioned from a near-term perspective, which is 810. That is the first level of resistance. But I think he should continue holding once the stock gets past that as well, because beyond that, you're seeing a level of 850 come about. So this is more from a trading perspective. The risk reward ratio is extremely favorable, with a 20-point stop loss for gains of about 60, 70 odd points. It's not a bad trade to make. So continue holding on to Tata Motors. 760 is the stop loss. Targets 810 and 850.
That's the view on Tata Motors, and I think a couple of other viewers also had a question on that, so hopefully this answers your question. Nagraj from Andhra Pradesh is calling us. Nagraj, good morning to you. And Graphite India, you bought at prices of 602. What is the perspective that you had that caused you to buy this?
I bought a Graphite India, sir, price of 602.
Yes.
The number of shares 50.
Yes.
Shall I hold or sell, sir? Accumulate more, sir. Then no problem.
So you're looking for a short-term view on this?
Short term, sir. Short term.
Okay, short term. So it's a trading view that he has. And remember, Graphite India usually moves in tandem with the outlook on steel from a fundamental basis. Also, as Mahima was just pointing out, China plus one plays into this entire theme. It's down as much as 6% in trade today. So under pressure. Kush, on the technicals though, would you hold on to this?
Alex, I would, for targets of the levels that it has achieved recently, which is 615, and once that is taken out, you're looking at 650 also on the higher side. Today's profit booking is not at all surprising, because if you'll recall, the stock has actually had a vertical rise, a near vertical rise from 460 levels all the way up until the 610 mark in about 8-10 odd sessions. So this profit booking was due and par for the course right now. Now, support zone comes in at 545. That's my stop loss. If that is held, then the stock, after absorbing this profit booking, will start the second leg of up move. So, as I said, 615, 610, and 650. Those are the levels to wait for. May not be a very big profit, but there's a possibility that he could exit this one in a profit around that 650 mark.
All right, that's the view coming on Graphite India. The next caller is Ravi Chandran from Chennai. Thanks for calling, Ravi Chandran. I believe you have a question on Mishra Dhatu.
Correct. I bought it at 88 or 89 during the IPO stage. So I'm still holding it. Though the company is in a niche area, the EPS and the bottom line and EPS, they are not very good. But is it advisable to add more at the current level for long term? Long term, I mean more than 5 years.
All right, I think kudos to the patience, because you've been holding it since the IPO. Samir, I'll quickly come to you on this one. Should he add more at the current levels?
No, I don't think he should add more. If he wants to hold, he can. I find valuations again. Look, I'm not denying the fact that the defense space is going to do really well over the next many years, and Mishra Dhatu does focus on that. But simply put, buying a stock trading at about 72 times, I think, FY25 projections, and 60 times maybe FY26, it leaves very little room for margin of error for the company. So if for some reason order flow doesn't come to them and it goes somewhere else because they've not been competitive in their pricing, for whatever reason, I'm not saying it'll happen, I'm just saying it does happen, then the risk reward is quite unfavorable. So I would not be buying at this point. If he wants to hold on, continue to hold. Like I said, next 5 years will be good, but expect the stock to go through a period of consolidation before you expect any big move. And it could even go through a period of further downside. We've already seen a bit of downside, but I wouldn't be surprised if it moves down closer to 240 odd levels, where maybe then valuations start looking a little better.
Okay. So we've got one more caller, but Praveen, we're running out of time, unfortunately. So I'm going to take your question at the start of the rapid fire. You want to know about Aster DM, which you bought at levels of 480. You've got a long-term perspective. Samir and Kush, quick answers, 2 minutes. We're throwing more questions at you. So would you hold on to Aster DM, bought at levels of 480?
Yes, hold on.
All right, the next question is from Mahendra from Baroda. His question is on Welspun Living. Again, a long-term one. Samir, your view on this one?
Which one?
Welspun Living.
I don't have coverage, sorry.
Kush, quickly, then your view on Welspun Living?
Hold. Stop loss comes in about 155.
Okay, Samir, IDFC first bought at levels of 64. Would you hold?
Buy.
Okay, Utkarsh, that answers your question.
All right, Aadhar Housing is the next counter, bought at 444 level. Gopal Krishnan from Bangalore is writing in. Samir, your view on this one?
Book out of this one.
Okay. Lavish is asking about TD Power System. He wants a technical view. He's bought at levels of 455. Kush, would you hold?
Continue to hold. Consolidation, 415 is your target. May not see momentum, but continue to hold for stop loss of 415. Sorry, stop loss of 415.
All right. The next question is on Canara Bank. Shares purchased 15,000, bought at 108 is the average price. Kush, would you keep holding it or sell off?
No, I'd continue to hold. For me, the stop loss on this one comes in at 102.
Okay, Balaji Mines is the name of the counter. We've got Chandrasekhar asking, Samir, on the fundamentals, if you bought the level of 3,135, the stock is at just over 2,000. Would you hold?
I would buy more. Look, the long term is very good. They're setting up a new factory for certain chemicals which are going to be an exclusive manufacturing in India, so buy.
Tejas Networks, from a long-term perspective, good buy, Samir?
No coverage.
Kush, then your view on this one?
Buy.
Okay, the next one is on Paytm. We've already taken a view, I think, on the technicals, right? But on the fundamentals, would you hold if you bought at levels of 1,376, Samir?
I think one can hold on.
All right, CDSL is the next counter, bought 30 shares at 461 a piece. Long-term view, Samir?
At this point, at this price, I would look to book some profits. I think overvalued.
Okay, Hyundai Motor, would you hold on if you've gotten allotment in IPO? This is Awez who's asking from Nagpur, Samir.
Yeah, you can hold on.
Okay, IOB 1300 quantity bought at levels of 59. Sujata wants to know, would you hold, Kush?
Hold, stop loss at 55.
All right, that brings us to the end of the rapid fire round, and in fact it brings us to the end of this show as well. Samir and Kush, thanks so much for joining in. We've answered quite a few questions, taken a lot of calls. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and that brings us to the end of this particular edition of Ask Profit from Mahima and myself and the team that put the show together. Thank you so much for watching. Do stay tuned. Lots more coming up on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow, the newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow, the newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.